Alrighty traders, so there is a lot of pressure building in one particular market that I do believe is going to make a really big move soon. Something that I was talking about with my clients today. And then also there was one market that I believe is getting ready for a really big drop on the downside. Plus wrap it up with all an actual market update, what happened across the board today. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into today. So I want to start off with the one market that I believe is building pressure. They're getting ready for a really big move. That one market to me is the Russell. Okay, we're looking at the Russell right now and the IWM. And I want you to be thinking about, when it comes down to your particular trading, I want you to think about this one simple concept that I've always seen across the markets. And it's pretty amazing, right? It's pretty powerful. And that is the concept of when we do nothing for quite some time and we start to break out, we tend to go for a really nice move. So if I use some examples here, like let's go to gold, okay? Look at gold here. So gold actually did nothing for many years actually, right? So gold did nothing for about 2-3 years, right? And then we broke out and now we've had a really nice move. So that's a gold example from there. You also can see that it actually, if we go to gold and we actually go to the gold weekly chart, we also can see it happening down the bottom here as well too, right? Look at this here. Nothing for quite some time. And then when we did start the breakout, we actually went for a really nice move. Then it went into this consolidation and now we're just going absolutely crazy to the upside, right? Absolutely crazy to the upside. Which is actually quite interesting, isn't it? Because people are just like, well, if you invested in Bitcoin and not gold, then Bitcoin has outdone blah, 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 right? All this sort of stuff. People have been like that with gold. What do the Bitcoin investors say now, right? Well, if you invested in Bitcoin at the start of the year and you invested in gold at the start of the year, look where you'd be right now, right? It's like, all righto. So we see that through there, right? We see these things like even from the Dow Jones perspective, right? If we go to this is the Dow Jones. We see it when the market does, look at this here, just sideways. We're not really doing much. We tend to break out and tend to go for a really nice, trending move to the upside. So overlaying that with what I just said there, overlaying that with the Russell chart. Check out the Russell chart. The Russell chart is doing what? We're starting to develop sideways, okay? And then we broke out. Now we're developing sideways, but we're starting to develop this bit of a strong upward trending motion right now to the upside. So I believe this is really building a lot of pressure for a really nice move to come out of the Russell. So it may not be today, right? It may not be today, but I do believe we're likely to see a really nice move coming out of the Russell. And once we do start to get above the highs here, that's when I think the real good move is going to come. So I think we're getting really close, guys, on a short-term level basis. That's what's happening right there. So this is the one market that I talked about on the intro, which is the one market I think is going to absolutely just explode. It's getting ready to explode in the markets here. And then I'll get to the one market that I believe is going to have a big crash soon as well too. So we'll just get into some short-term TA across all the markets. That's a bit of a long-term analysis, guys. If I go into the absolute short-term analysis here, then we can see that we had this low, higher low, we had this high, and we had this higher high. We've come up, so this could just be some sort of a pullback. Remember, how to trend analysis is up, down, high, low, up, down, high, low, up, down, high, low, right? So that's trend analysis. And what we're getting right now is, look at this here, right? We're getting up, and then we get these pullbacks, counter trend, higher, low, up, higher, high. Now we're getting a pullback, right? So this here could just be one of these bits here before what? Before we start to go through this, before we start to go through this leg here, before we start to go through this leg here. Makes sense, guys? So we can see that we're getting a really sort of flattening out sort of period through here. One of the most powerful things, guys, that you can do for your own personal trading is learning how to read the charts properly, right? In that Master Trader Lab, you can get 95% off today, actually. That second link in the description there. You can grab access to that. And in that there, I've got a whole section there about the chart reading sections and of how to identify the charts. Plus also I've got about 4 or 5 different trading systems in there as well too. You're going to absolutely just love that. You can grab access to that for 95% off, guys, in the link in the description there. But we can see here that we're now, the reason why, one of the reasons why I say the Russell's probably likely to blow soon is because of what we're getting right here, right? But then also, what are we getting? Also, we're getting these lows, high lows. This is probably going to be some sort of a higher low here soon. Now, when that happens, I don't know. That we could have more downside for a couple of days, maybe another week or so before we develop the higher low. But we don't even know if it's going to develop that yet. So we want to see if it does develop that and we start to break above these highs, we could be getting ready for a really big move to come. S&P 500, bit of an update today. Bit of a short-term TA. We actually had another nice little update. We're still above the 9 moving average here. So we're still very strong on the upside when it comes to this level through here. There's nothing, I wouldn't want to be trying to go down the path of trying to fight against these markets. One thing I've learned about these markets, guys, is these markets can stay very, very, very bullish a lot longer than we ever think, okay? So, one, trying to go short these markets, very, very, very risky. And 2, trying to predict when the top's going to be in, it's just not probably not a good opportunity. So, one thing I always like to use, my 9 moving average, which is my shorter term moving average, right? And then what we see here is this. What do we see? We see here, right? We see that whenever the market does potentially start to break below there, that's when the move has potentially come to an end, right? Look at this level here. When it broke below, moving average is coming up. When it broke below, especially when the moving average started flattening out, that's when the overall move was coming, right? Come up, come up, come up, come up. Moving average flatten out. We get below the moving average, and that's when we've got the drop coming. So right now the moving average is still trending up. If we do start to get the moving average rolling over like this, and maybe the market starts up like that, then we're probably likely to get ready for a movement on the downside from there. Move on now through to the Nasdaq, and the same sort of situation, right? Nasdaq's having a really nice strong leg, and this is part of an uptrend, right, guys? Remember, an uptrend is what? Up, and then we get the pullback or the drop or the counter trend. Doesn't mean the sellers are in control. No, sellers are not in control at this point in time, right? And then we go for another big bull leg, and then we have another pull through here. What are we getting right now? We're getting up, we're getting down, high, low, and then back up again, right? So we are getting this strong upward trending motion now in the Nasdaq. And once again, you can see how the Nasdaq's, this is the moving average through here, as you can see. That's the moving average score trending through there, and we're still well above the 9 moving average. So on a short-term level basis, it's still looking really strong at this particular point in time. And then moving over now through to the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones is really, really, really strong. And the reason why is because we went up, down, and this was actually a 50% retracement. And now we're continuing up again. So big mistake that a lot of traders make is they think that these down moves is the top in and the sellers are in control. Trend analysis, right? What is the trend? What is the trend? And when you know what the trend is, if we go through a down drop through here, and this may be, say, call this 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Call this, there you go, 3 weeks. Call this 3 weeks of a downward movement. What is that? What is that? Is that now, oh my goodness, top's in? Well, maybe not, right? Because we have a low, we have a higher low. This could just be another higher low here soon. And then bam, way we go again, right? And that's actually what happened on the markets from there. So one thing that I want to talk to you about, guys, is one thing, and I've been talking to you about the reason why this trend analysis is so important, guys, is because it's so important to understand what the trend is and also understand what's going on right now, right? And so, for example, when it comes to oil market, you guys know I've been doing updates about oil having another move on the downside. Why have I been saying that? Well, if we have a look at this here, what is a downtrend? A downtrend is what? Down, up, and then it makes a lower high. Comes down, comes up, lower high, comes down. So as it's coming up through here, what is this? Is this the bottom in? Well, it may be, it may be not. What is this? This is just what? We have been making these lower highs all the way down, so therefore we could be actually getting ready for a downward move, right? High, lower, and now we could be developing, and now, as you can see, right, we're developing another lower high here. And that's where I was saying that traders, yeah, we're getting a little bit of move to the upside, But for traders who've been only around the markets for a few years, one of the biggest things I do say to you is that focus on what is the trend. So if we are making lower highs, we are still in a downward trend, and until that changes, we're still probably going to be in this strong downward trend. As you can see, up, and then now the market's coming down through here. If you try to go long here, like, oh my goodness, the market's bottoming out, here we go, it's ready, and then it drops over, you don't. This is how markets work, right? So if the market's going down and back up again and down and go back up again, and you're trying to go long here, it's like, oh, it's bottoming out, and then the market drops on you like that, like, oh, the market's rigged. No, we are in a big downtrend, and these pullbacks here, counter trends, is probably what's going to happen in the markets from there, right? Let's have a quick look at gold as well too. Gold having a really, really nice leg to the upside, still well above my 9 moving average as well too. Well, it's actually getting pretty far away from the 9 moving average right now. But we're still pretty far away from the 9 moving average, and the moving average is still really, really, really strong through here. Another nice little update today. Gold is looking really, really, really strong, guys. I see gold going to 3,000. Overall, I don't know if it's going to be this leg here or whether we're going to get like another one of these things going on, like another one of these before we see the 3,000 target. But I've got a target of 3,000 overall on the gold market, and then the silver market as well too. Silver, actually, look at this here. Silver came down to my 9 moving average through here. So 9 moving average, found support, and then we broke this previous high, and now we're just holding here, right? So what we want to see is that we want to see what does it do really soon in conjunction of the 9 moving average, right? Because as you can see, when the 9 moving average starts to flatten out and we start to get below it, that's when we tend to get that, at least a bit of a short-term drop, right? Below it, short-term drop from here. So we're above it right now. What happens tomorrow? Do we get this tomorrow? Like that, and then we get a breaking of that, and maybe we start to roll over here. So there we go, traders. There's a bit of a quick little update for you across the market. Have an amazing day, guys.